Now let's look at the sample problems of topic 1. So the first problem that we have here is the addition of 5 numbers. This is related to the associative property of addition that we have just seen, which means we can pick and choose any 2 numbers that we think are easier to calculate or easier for the final calculation. So usually when we add multiple numbers together, we want to find numbers that add up to 10 or 100, so that the final numbers, when we add them together, it will be a little easier. So if we look at these numbers, we can pick and choose these 2. 3 plus 7 is 10, and 10s are easy, right? So 3 plus 7 is 10. We can move 1 to the 10th place. Then 5 plus 4, that's 9, plus 1, that's another 10. So move 1 to the 100th place, that's 200. So these 2 numbers give us 200. And if we look at this 8 and 2, that's another 10. So if we add these 2 numbers together, 2 and 8, that's 10, move 1 to the 10th place, that's 5 plus 4, that's 9, plus 1, that's another 100. And the only number left is 243. So if we carry this out, it's 200 plus 100, and the remaining 243. So total will be very easy. 2, 300, and 400, 500, 543. Okay, now let's look at the second problem. The second problem is 2 multiplications, and there's a minus sign in between the 2 terms. This is related to earlier our property of the distributive property of multiplication according to the second line. So if we carry out the second line, we'll put this one right here. A minus B bracket multiply C is A multiply C minus B multiply C. Okay, so C is the common factor. So this calculation is exactly the same format as this right-hand side. C is the common factor. Here the common factor is the 83. So we take out the common factor. We have a bracket out front. What's left are going into the bracket. The first term is going to have 155, and there's carry out the minus sign in between the 2 terms. And the second term, you have 55. So we always carry out the bracket first. The bracket gives us exactly 100 and the outside factor of 83. So total is 8,300. Next problem is a little bit more complicated. We have multiplication and 3 terms. So it's almost the same as we have seen in the second problem, but with all plus signs. So distributive properties of multiplication again. Now we're looking at the first line. We keep the first line here, A plus B multiply C is A multiply C plus B multiply C. Okay, we have a format that's similar to the right-hand side. We need to find out the common factor, and what's left is going to go in the bracket. We can look at this one. The common factor is 67. So 67 is going to go on the outside. What's left is going to go in the bracket. The first term you have 22. The second term you have 77. The third term, 67, is 67 multiply 1. So 1 is going to go in the bracket. We carry out the bracket first. 2, 7, and 1, adding together, that's 10. And move 1 to the 10th place. 2 plus 7, that's 9, plus 1, that's 10. So that's total of 100. You have the outside factor, which is 6,700.